So LeSean McCoy's longest run today was his jolt straight into the locker room after the Eagles' 23-20 win over the Buffalo Bills. He wasn't kidding when he said he wasn't going to shake Chip Kelly's hand. Hell, he didn't shake anybody's hand after the game. He was a very, very salty Bill. We're here to talk about the game. Mike Owens is here. I'm Adrian Fedke. A great win. I do have LeSean's jersey on. You know, I did pay a little bit of homage to the guy, my favorite Eagle when he was here, besides Brian Dawkins, of course. But, yeah, man, we shut him down in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, you really got to give it up to the Eagles' front seven, especially the Eagles' defensive line. And to be more specific, Fletcher Cox in this one. Eagles really did a nice job, especially in the second half, like you mentioned, of shutting down McCoy. They really did a good job of containing McCoy overall in this game. I mean, when we did our pre-show coming into this game, we expected McCoy to get over 100 yards rushing. I think all three of us said that McCoy would have over 100 yards rushing. We all said that he would have at least one touchdown too. And we held McCoy off the scoreboard, so that was key as well. But, you know, the only shaking or touching that McCoy did before the game was I was with Jeffrey Lurie, and kind of was a little bit weird there for a minute. He, you know, kind of embraced Jeffrey Lurie. They gave a hug, you know, the pat on the head, and then they ended it with a little butt tap. So, yeah, he didn't shake Chip's hand, but I guess he wanted to get a piece of Lurie's ass.
Play a little grab ass. But, yeah, man, I mean, we're all like, LeSean McCoy is going to be motivated. He's coming into the game kind of pissed off the organization, and we did a really good job of, you know, kind of shutting him down. Here's the number I had. I jotted this down. He had 9 carries for 63 yards at the 8-minute mark of the second quarter. And the rest of the way, 11 carries for just 11 yards. Wow. They shut him down. And, you know, what do you think the reason was for that?
Yeah, well, the biggest reason was Fletcher Cox. He was a beast. I mean, he was in the backfield all day. He just he bullied you know, Richie Incognito, and we all know what Incognito.
How did I know you were going to use that pun?
Yeah, you know, it's there for the taking with Incognito, and it's actually just shows you know, how well Fletcher Cox is playing this year, because Incognito has actually been playing well for the Bills. And you know, there was talk within the Bills organization. They're saying that he should win, you know, the Comeback Player of the Year award. Well, you know, if they're giving him that praise, you got to give praise to Fletcher Cox, because Incognito just could not stop him at all. And really, they couldn't stop the Eagles' defensive line, because the Bills, well, they just kept holding. And really, the holding calls were the reason why you know, the Eagles did such a good job of shutting down McCoy in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane, because last week you're watching the Patriots. Many times they were double teaming Cox. At the end of the game, they were even triple teaming him. And then you're seeing this game today, and it was Incognito against Cox one-on-one, mano-a-mano. So clearly they have a high regard for Richie, and, well, he wasn't able to hold his own at all. I mean, I think my favorite part today was when Cox just shot straight into the backfield, got McCoy for a loss of like 5 yards. McCoy's laying there on the ground, extending his hand, and Cox is just like, "Nah, I ain't helping you up."
Yeah, you know, there's definitely a little trash talk going on during the game between McCoy and the Eagles players. And, you know, you talk about that one specific play with Cox. But overall, you know, Cox was just he was in the backfield the entire game. And it's really crazy to think about last year that Fletcher Cox was not voted to the Pro Bowl. And I'll tell you one thing. If Fletcher Cox does not make it to the Pro Bowl this year, I think that they just need to abandon the Pro Bowl altogether, because that would just be an absolute joke.
Dude, not only is he a Pro Bowler, right now he's playing like the second best 3-4 defensive end in the NFL behind some guy named J.J. Watt. So I think that's how good he's been this year. He's been incredible. He really has. And I wanted to get to some of, what McCoy was doing pregame. You referenced that he and Lurie were playing grab ass with each other. He did kiss the Eagles logo at midfield because, I got some details from Jeremy. Jeremy was at the game today. Unfortunately, couldn't make the show. He's out there drinking somewhere in the city. He's with his girlfriend. So, hopefully he enjoys the rest of the night. But they were booing him before the game. They booed him when he ran into the tunnel. They were basically booing him all game. I probably would have cheered. I'm not going to lie. I'm wearing my McCoy jersey today. The only time this year I'm going to bust this guy out. But, overall, pretty much got booed. Leading rusher in the franchise, and he got booed. Yeah,
I'm kind of with you on this one. With him being the leading rusher in the franchise, I would, before the game, I would have probably given him an applause. But when the game gets started, then you got to boo him. I think what really, turned the fans the wrong way was how McCoy, was acting leading up to this week, and really how he acted after this whole trade went down. I mean, we're months now after the trade, and McCoy is still bitter about the whole situation. And it's really not a good look for McCoy to act like he did this week and act like he did today after the game, not speaking to the media, saying that he's got nothing to say. And this comes after this week when he said that he wasn't going to shake Chip Kelly's hand. Just really not a lot of class there from McCoy.
No, I completely agree with you. I still cheer the guy in Buffalo. He's in another conference, so I figure, I'll still root for him. But he acted like a crybaby this week, the entire week, and then for him not to talk to the media after the game, that's just ridiculous to me. So that's that. Some other things I wanted to say about McCoy in terms of what was going on today in the game. The Eagles did a really good job of, pursuing him and gang tackling because there were times where he would kind of break out to the outside. It looked like he might gain some yardage, and then they pretty much stop him. Jenkins was in the backfield a couple times. He did a good job. They corralled him very, very well. They played him very, very well.
Yeah, well, the key on defense when you're facing McCoy is to be sound in your gaps. And the Eagles really did a nice job with that. They also did a nice job with the gang tackling, like you said. That's the one way how you have to beat McCoy. And obviously, the Eagles knew that going into the game because he's, the leading rusher here in franchise history. So the Eagles knew his tendencies. The one thing that I was kind of surprised by is we really didn't see McCoy dancing too much in the backfield. That's something that he was really known here in Philadelphia, but McCoy did a nice job of not doing that in this game. The one play where he kind of did that a little bit is when Fletcher Cox just ripped into the backfield. He tried to do a little bit of dancing, but he couldn't because Cox just took him down right away. But McCoy actually, he got off to somewhat of a decent start in this game, but I think this is where you have to you look at adjustments during the game. The one thing that Chip Kelly is really becoming known for is his adjustments at halftime, and the Eagles did a good job adjusting at halftime, and they were able to shut McCoy down in the second half.
Yeah, they really did. It was incredible. I mean, yeah, awesome stuff. 2 thumbs up for me. Let's move on to the last couple minutes of the game. Let's specifically talk about that Zach Ertz play. Oh, 3rd and 3, 41 yards down the left sideline. He runs over Leotis McKelvin, and then he stiff arms Duke Williams for like 18 yards down the left sideline. Awesome.
Yeah, I thought that he was going to take Duke Williams into the end zone with him. That was just a, great heart and hustle there by Ertz. Just great determination. So, I mean, you really got to give it up to Ertz on that play because that was a game-changing play, and it led to the Eagles getting that go-ahead field goal.
Yeah, really was. And then let's talk about this defense again. So earlier on in the year, Kirk Cousins marches down the field for a game-winning touchdown. But guess what, guys? The last 2 weeks, we've shut people down. We shut down Tom Brady. And then today, Tyrod Taylor couldn't get the job done late in the game. Ed Reynolds seals it with the pick. So back-to-back weeks, the defense has stepped up. And, I don't like Billy Davis. I hate him. I despise him. But he's been pretty good the last 2 weeks, So I'll give credit when credit is due. I am a realist. And, I don't let my hatred of people blind me from what's really going on. So, yeah, I'll give him like a 1.5 thumbs up. Not a complete 2, just 1.5.
Yeah, you talk about this defense coming up clutch now the past 2 weeks, and that's what good defenses do, man. They're gonna win a game for you at the end when they have to, and this very well could have ended up being a heartbreaking loss if the Bills would have went down and got a game-winning touchdown there, or even if the Bills would have been able to get a field goal and send it to overtime, and then anything's possible. So, got to hand it up to the D, and I really got to give some credit to Reynolds, because earlier in the game he was late on getting over the coverage to help out Maxwell on a deep pass when Watkins got into the end zone for a big score. But on this play at the end of the game, Reynolds did a nice job of getting over to the football, made the interception.
Yeah, and I said this, last couple shows. He's, his play is pretty big, because if he's playing well, that means in nickel and dime situations, you can put Jenkins in the slot and, have him cover or in run defense, because, we all know E.J. Biggers stinks. So if he plays well, that means they can keep Biggers off the field.
Yeah, well, and that's key, because even when you're watching the game today and you're seeing Biggers, have to cover McCoy, that's not a situation that we want at all. We don't even want Biggers to be on the field. So it's key to, have Reynolds to be able to play that safety position. And it seems like he's made some good strides here over the last week. So this was definitely, it's good to see that Reynolds was able to learn throughout the game. He learned from his mistake earlier in the game.
Yeah, agreed. Moving on to another topic I wanted to discuss. Earlier on in the year, this was a game we would have lost. There's no doubt in my mind, absolutely no doubt. And there's a multitude of reasons for this. First of all, our defense at the end. Earlier on in the year, we probably wouldn't have stopped the Bills. And I really think keeping Murray on the bench a little bit more is helping it tremendously. We're getting it feels like we're getting like a 6-point boost with him on the bench. And I don't know. What do you have to say? I'll get my thoughts on this subject, right after you talk.
Yeah, well, I actually kind of felt like that Murray touched the ball maybe a little bit too much today. I'm really fine with the Eagles limiting him to maybe even 5 carries a game at this point. I thought that they actually did a pretty solid job with the rotation heading into the final offensive possession that the Eagles had. I was not a fan of the Eagles bringing Murray in that situation. So, yeah, I didn't like that. But this was actually a game where we didn't really run the ball that well. I think we ended up with like about 119 yards rushing. Matthews did end up getting the majority of the snaps. But, I'm just not a fan of having Murray in such a, critical time when the Eagles really could have got 1 first down, ran the rest of the clock out. I felt like in those type of situations, you got to get Matthews in there. He's a guy that really hits the hole fast.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the reason why I was, kind of saying what I was saying earlier, we still had the same mistakes in this game as we've seen all season long. We had the drops by Nelson Aguilar. We had drops by Riley Cooper. We had drops by Zach Ertz. We still had the penalties on the offensive line. We had back-to-back killers by Dennis Kelly. Obviously, we eventually scored a touchdown, beautiful deep ball by Bradford. But what I'm seeing is we're a little bit more ahead of the chains now. with Murray on the bench. And, the Eagles fans, they may look at the numbers, well, besides Sproles had 7 carries for 41 yards. They're going to look at Matthews' 13 carries, 38 yards, and then Murray's total of 11 carries for 34 yards. They're going to be like, what are you talking about? Matthews actually kind of like faded off at the end, but he was pretty good to start the game, I thought. Those are kind of my thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, yeah, Matthews definitely did a nice job starting out the game, and I like them actually, having Matthews start the game on that first offensive series. He's the one out there, so I like that a lot. And the one thing that was kind of surprising is we weren't sure how they were going to do the running back situation with who was going to be active, who was going to be inactive, and then there was all these reports, rumors. This is why you don't listen to any reports or rumors before the game, because they were saying that the Eagles were possibly thinking about maybe even deactivating Murray. Well, I don't think that the Eagles were thinking about deactivating Murray, considering that he got over 10 carries. So that was stupid reporting. It's dumb, all this stuff that they say. But yeah, the Eagles actually ended up going with all 4 running backs active, but they really didn't use Barner, which was a little bit surprising to me.
Yeah, they had him out there a couple times, but it was basically in like pass situations where he was pass protecting, helping out with that aspect. I did write this down. Let's see. I believe Matthews got the first 3 carries of the game, and Murray saw his first action on the 7th snap. So, the way I kind of want them to use Murray is to use him as the drive kind of goes along when the defense is a little bit tired and you have his, kind of physical sense of running in there between the tackles. And we pretty much saw that today, besides that drive where he was in there with 2 minutes left in the game. So I really like the way Chip utilized him.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a great point there, and I think that's kind of how they're going to have to utilize Murray going forward, because you could really see that the fast tempo was playing a toll on that Bills defense. So, yeah, going forward, they're going to have to start using Murray later on in the drive when the defenses maybe run down a little bit. And, maybe that's a way where the Eagles can start to get Murray going a little bit in this offense is when they use him later on in the drive. Maybe it'll help out his confidence some. But you're definitely right. I mean, early on in the drive, it's not the time to use Murray because he doesn't do anything. He gets like a yard, and they can't take that in this offense. That's why they got to have Matthews or Sproles in there, so they know they're going to be set up with like a 2nd and 6.
Yeah. Here's the difference between like Matthews, Sproles, and Murray. If you're basically playing Murray from the beginning of the series, so say you have a first down play. Matthews is going to get you like 4 to 5 yards a carry, and Murray's going to get you like 2 to 3 yards. So basically, you're behind the chains when Murray's in there, and with Matthews and Sproles in there, you're seeing like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, and with Murray, it's like 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and that's a big difference with the receivers that we have because they're trash, they're garbage, they're shit, they're terrible. So, there is a difference.
Yeah, no, it's a big difference. And, the key is when they get these, when you get those 3rd and shorts, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, it really opens up the playbook for the Eagles, and they can do a multitude of things. And it also leaves them the option to be able to run the ball, which they did at certain points on those 3rd and shorts. But it also gives them the option to throw a short pass out to Ertz like they did on that one play on the game-winning field goal drive.
Yeah, and Sproles had the one run where he kind of like it was like an option pitch to Sproles in the right boundary, and they got a first down. It was like a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4.
Yeah, exactly. So, those are the types of plays that they can run when they get in those 3rd and short situations. And like you were saying, the problem is we get in these 3rd and longs when Murray's in there, and it's just not going to work out because we don't have the receivers to be able to get that first down.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Sammy Sleeves, Sam Bradford, Sammy Smiles, whatever nickname you want to say. Overall, 23 of 38, 247 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He went 159 pass attempts without throwing a pick. But that one pick wasn't even a pick; it hit the ground. But whatever. Ed Muscles Hockey, saw it differently. But the 159 pass attempts was the second longest streak of Bradford's career. Had a stretch of 169 passes during the 2010 season. So overall, what did you think of his play?
Yeah, I thought another solid performance from Bradford. I mean, he's not putting up outrageous numbers. He's not going to be a guy that's going to go out there and play like Aaron Rodgers, but right now he's playing well enough for this Eagles team to win because he's not making mistakes. And like you said, I mean, the one interception, it really shouldn't have been an interception. Selleck should have been able to haul that ball in or at least knock it away from the defender. So Bradford, again, he's really just showing great pocket presence. And today, I felt like he was even better than he has been the past few weeks. I felt like today he was really on target, and I was like really getting annoyed with the drops because I felt like Bradford could have had a lot bigger day if it wasn't for some of these drops.
Yeah, because the Bradford, the haters out there who don't like him, there've actually been a lot of there's been a lot of silence lately because he's been playing well, but even the haters are like, well, he only had like 250 yards passing. He didn't get 300 yards. And, this is why stats mean absolutely nothing. And the other thing is he would have had over 300 had Cooper caught that goddamn pass. And the pass you referenced earlier was Selleck. So, I keep saying it every week. It's like I feel like this is the best game he's played.
Yeah, I mean, other thing you got to look at is that pass to Aguilar, the touchdown pass. That was a thing of beauty. I mean, Bradford did a nice job of stepping up in the pocket and delivering a great deep ball. That's something that we've really seen from Bradford this year is that he delivers a nice deep ball, man. I was cheering for the Eagles to throw the ball deep even more in this game. I mean, the way they started it out, Bradford was just sharp on those deep balls. So, especially with the Bills secondary, and they don't have the best safeties, and with their top cornerback and Gilmore being out, I like that the Eagles, went deep. First time we've really seen them go deep in a while.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that. And you referenced Stephon Gilmore being out. That played actually a pretty big factor, I thought, because they basically targeted Leonis McKelvin, and they stayed away from Ronald Darby a little bit. Darby, the rookie second, I believe he was a second rounder out of Florida State. He's been exceptional this season. So they kind of stayed away from him. And getting back to the Bradford point, we've been talking about how he's improved as the season's gone on. What differences are you seeing now as opposed to earlier on in the year?
Yeah, well, earlier on in the year, Bradford was trying to force the ball in there too much. The one play that really comes to mind is week 2 against the Cowboys. Tried to force the ball into the end zone. I believe it was either Ertz or Selleck, and Sean Lee came up with an interception. He was draped all over him. So, yeah, the Bradford, he's not trying to force the ball now. He's looking at all of his reads. And the other big thing is his pocket presence has really improved. But I think overall, the big thing here was Bradford getting comfortable with the offense. And what really happened is, Bradford and the Eagles, that they sat down and they said, all right, Bradford, what plays do you like in the playbook? Now, it's amazing that more teams don't do this with their quarterback because it makes total sense. So they picked out the plays that Bradford likes, and, well, you can see it. He is comfortable with the plays that they're calling.
Yeah, I agree with that. They really didn't roll him out today, but that's like one of the things that you're talking about there. And I believe he has the highest quarterback rating in the NFL when throwing outside the pocket. So, It's something he does exceptionally well. You kind of made the points that I was going to make, so I'll just say this. I love the difference in demeanor that I'm seeing because earlier on preseason, first couple of weeks, I was like, oh, man, I don't like the way he's reacting after taking a hit. He would get up and kind of look all cringy and stuff, and he's a lot more confident now. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the beard that he's growing. I don't know what's going on, but it's a much different Bradford. It looks confident out there. He really does.
Yeah, he's like he's starting to get that lumberjack look, man. He's really growing the hair out. The beard is in full effect. So I don't know if that's the case, but you're right. He got pounded today. Let's be honest. He took some big hits, and there was times like, just please God, get up, because if Sanchez came in that game, no way we were freaking winning. So thank God that Bradford was able to stay alive.
There was the one play where not only did I don't know who took him down. It might have been Jerry Hughes or something. But so right after Bradford gets slammed to the turf, Peters goes and falls down right on top of him too. You remember that play?
Yeah, it's not what you need. You need like a 300-pound lineman falling on you after you get pounded. So yeah, good thing that Bradford got up after that. But really, thank God that Peters was all right too, because he got hobbled up earlier in the game as well.
Your weekly Peters limp, like he just limping every week after something. It's insane. And just one more Bradford point I wanted to make. He's actually taking off a little bit more. The nimble-footed Sam Bradford. Whoever thought we'd be saying that this year?
Yeah, 5 yards here and there. That's all you need.
Yeah, absolutely. So, big credit to the offense. And like I said, man, this is a game we would not have won earlier this year. We scored 23 points. We would have so much trouble just getting to 20, and now we're kind of scoring a little bit more. We look a little bit better, So hopefully, could keep continuing it. Obviously, last 3 games, playing our best football at the right time.
Yeah, this is a time when you got to play your best football if you want to make the playoffs. And the way the division is right now, the Eagles can really control their own fate. If they win out, they're going to win the division. So right now, this win helps a lot today because, there was a possibility that they could have lost this game and lost next week to the Cardinals and still win their final 2 games and win the division. But by getting this win today, it helps because the Redskins also won, so they needed to keep pace with the Redskins.
Yeah, and I said I was making one final point on Bradford, but I'll say something else. I love the way he commanded the offense. That 2-minute drill right before the half, they were able to get a field goal out of it. I believe they had like 1:25 on the clock with 2 timeouts, and he was able to lead them down the field, and they got a field goal. So and Caleb Sturgis made his kicks.
Yeah, I was, worried that we were going to have to rely on Sturgis to kick a game-winning field goal, and he did kick the winning field goal, but it was a lot shorter than it could have been. So yeah, thank God for that. But yeah, it's amazing that he's actually making his kicks. But I got every time he kicks a ball, I don't know what it is, how he kicks a ball, but it's like a curveball. His ball does a weird spin, and then it goes online. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's like a little knuckleball.
Yeah,
it's strange. If only there was another kicker today that could have made a field goal. Fuck you, Robbie Gould.
Yeah, Robbie Gould makes a field goal for the Bears. They probably go to overtime with the Redskins, and then who knows what happens. And the game was in Chicago, so the Bears could have very easily won the game in overtime. But no, Gould misses the field goal, and now we're still tied with the Redskins.
Still tied with the Redskins. I'm not sure what the score is right now with the Cowboys. It was 14-7 the last time I checked, near the end of the 3rd quarter. And you got the Giants playing tomorrow night in Miami. The Redskins are really the wild card team in this thing because they have the easiest schedule. But if we beat them in 2 weeks, it may not matter.
Yeah, no, you're right. But it's interesting because we hate the Bills today, but then after the game we go to loving them because Redskins and Bills play next week. So we'll be McCoy fans again, and we'll be big Bills fans next week.
Yeah, I mean, basically the way I was looking at the last 4 games, I was thinking to myself, all right, if we can just split against Buffalo and Arizona, I think we win the division because I think we can take care of the Redskins at home, and the Giants are always a team that we play well against, and by that point, the Giants might be out of it because their schedule is brutal.
Yeah, now the Giants' schedule is really tough, and it's going to look like the Cowboys are going to be out of this thing after today. So, yeah, it's really coming down to the Eagles and Redskins, and for us to win the division, we have to win final 2 games against the Redskins, against the Giants if we want to win the division. So this Cardinals game is really big for us because if we can win that Cardinals game, then we're set up like gold.
Yeah, and the Cardinals game is also, it could be a huge confidence boost moving forward because they're the second best team record-wise in the NFC right now. So if you can get that win, you beat the Patriots, arguably the best team in the NFL on the road, and if you can get Arizona, I mean, who the hell knows what can happen?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Yeah, this Cardinals game is not going to be easy at all. This is looking like a loss for us, but hey, they moved it to prime time. They know it's going to be. They thought it was going to be a big game, and it is. So it's going to be a big game for the Cardinals as far as seeding goes, and for the Eagles, they're fighting for the NFC East.
Yeah. So obviously that's for next week for a Cardinals preview. But just quickly going through the rest of the NFC East and the teams that they're going to be playing, I won't include Dallas because I think Dallas is out of it. I don't care if they're 1 game back. They're not winning the division with Matt Castle. It's just not going to happen. And that ginger of a coach that they have. So the Giants, kind of reference at how they kind of had a difficult schedule going down the stretch. You got at Miami Monday night. You play the undefeated Panthers at home next week. So that's probably a loss. You got at Minnesota. That might be a loss. And then you play the Eagles the last week of the year where if you're 5-9 or 6-9, they might be out of it at that point, or 5-10 or whatever. The Redskins, they play Buffalo at home next week. Then they play us in Philly, and they close out the year in Dallas. So I'm a little bit more concerned about the Redskins than I am the Giants.
Yeah, no, definitely more concerned about the Redskins, and it could be one of these situations where the Cowboys have yet to put Romo on IR. Now maybe we could work out a little deal with the Cowboys and say, hey, want to bring Romo back for that final game there against the Redskins? Help us out a little bit. So yeah, we'll see. But no, it's looking like Giants are probably going to be out of it. That's a really tough schedule for them. They're looking at probably 3 losses there, and Eagles, Redskins. I mean, you're probably looking at 7-9 might get it, 8-8.
Probably, yeah. I think we can go 8-8. I think we'll just, we'll lose next week and then win the last 2, and that gets you to 8-8, and that wins the division.
Yeah, well, obviously, it's all going to come down to the Eagles-Redskins game because if the Eagles lose that game, then they're screwed.
Oh yeah, they're done. Yeah, they've done that game. And the Giants are pretty much done if they lose tomorrow night.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So there you go. There's the NFC East talk for today. NFC East, whatever the hell you want to call the division. Let's talk about the defense now. We talked about Cox earlier, but let's talk about our cornerbacks. Byron Maxwell and Eric Rowe both were pretty good today. Maxwell did allow his first touchdown since week 2. Watkins, that was the play you talked about earlier with Reynolds. Didn't get over the top. Maxwell also missed his press at the line of scrimmage. But I continue to be very, very impressed with Eric Rowe. I made a comment on Twitter on Monday saying that he was better than Maxwell, and I got absolutely ridiculed. And then it was funny because I had a little chat with Seth Joyner later in the week, and he agreed with me. So now I'm feeling like a little bit better about my statement, and I still feel good about that statement after today because he was outstanding.
Yeah, well, I think that opposing coaches agree with you too, because the way the Bills played the Eagles today, they went at Maxwell a lot more than they went at Rowe. They were showing a tremendous amount of respect for Eric Rowe today. And, Rowe, again, rose to the challenge and did an outstanding job. So week in and week out, Rowe is getting the job done. And going forward, it's looking like teams are going to be going after Maxwell.
Yeah, and Maxwell was good today, besides the one touchdown. He had the one on the very next drive. They threw like a back shoulder kind of ball to Watkins. He broke it up. So he was pretty good too. But Rowe, I wrote him down somewhere. I don't know if I'm going to find it or not. But he wasn't even like thrown at until late in the second quarter. So they were just going Maxwell, and they weren't even thrown at Rowe. And it wasn't like Watkins wasn't on Rowe either. Watkins was on both sides.
Yeah, and I mean Maxwell is going to take some heat for that touchdown to Watkins, and now Maxwell did get beat, but Reynolds was a guy that was really on fault on that play because he had to get over and be over top. If Reynolds was actually in position on that play, it's probably an interception.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Maxwell, like considering that he got beat right off the line of scrimmage and missed his press, his recovery actually wasn't that bad on the play. But he still got beat. But yeah, Reynolds, you got to get over there. You really do. So yeah, we got our cornerback talking. It got a little bit scary at the end because Rowe got hurt and he was limping a little bit on his leg, and I got really, really scared that EJ Biggers was going to come into the game.
Yeah, losing Rowe would probably, besides like losing like Fletcher Cox or Malcolm Jenkins, he's like the guy that we could at least afford to lose on that defense.
Absolutely. And the way he's playing right now, it's a combination of the way he's playing and our lack of depth at the cornerback spot.
Yeah, no, big time, because like you said, if Rowe would have won it, I mean, he went out for a little bit, but he came back. But yeah, it would have been Biggers, and yeah, I don't think that we would be too confident with that situation.
Yep. So another problem, actually the only problem I had with the defense today was we continue to struggle on 3rd and long. The Bills were 3 of 6 on 3rd and 9+ today, which is just pathetic, actually. So you had one where Taylor scrambled for a first down. So this continues to plague us, and I don't get it. Why doesn't Billy change? He never changes. It just baffles me.
Yeah, well, every other team in the NFL, 3rd and long would be a good situation for him. But with the Eagles, it's like when other team gets in a 3rd and long, you just can't even watch the play because you know what's going to happen. The other team's just going to get a first down. So it's the most frustrating play to watch with the Eagles is 3rd and long.
And it wasn't even in the slant today. It was just like there was McCoy. He had like a screen for a first down. You had the Taylor scramble. I mean, fuck this defense sometimes, man. Billy just like, yeah, they don't ever get pressure on 3rd down, it seems like sometimes on these 3rd and longs.
Yeah, and when the defense struggled today, it was really when they didn't get pressure on Taylor. When Taylor was able to sit back there all day, he was able to find the open guy. So, but when the Eagles were able to get that pressure, they did a good job. But it's all about being able to get the pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah. And quickly before we move on to another topic, just to give Kiko just a tad of love today, because I did see him make a play today. He was covered 1-on-1 against LeSean McCoy, lined up as a wide receiver, and he stayed step for step for him down the sideline. So that was a very impressive play. But other than that, he did over-pursue on a couple runs, and he's still kind of struggling a little bit out there. So just Kiko Alonso tidbit.
Yeah, I think that it was a better day for Alonso. I think that we might be pointing in the upper direction here, hopefully. I don't think that he got any worse. I think he might have got a little bit better today. But yeah, he's, still not that explosiveness, but at least he wasn't making key mistakes.
Yeah, and just because he's not playing well doesn't mean he won't play well next year. I don't know how to really word it, but there's no doubt in my mind that the knee's bothering him, and we really can't judge him. You know, that there's a lot of people that are saying that he's a bum and he's a bust, and why did we get him and all that stuff. It's still too early for that, honestly.
Yeah, it's way too early for that. Like you said, people like say that, oh, you can't blame the knee, but I think that the knee is definitely an issue. I mean, I haven't had any knee problems, but I know if you've had knee problems, and I mean, you can, tell people firsthand that, it's not the same. It takes some time to get back into action. A great example of this is look at Bradford. I mean, he had all those knee problems, and it took him about 8 games to get the hang of it here. So it takes time.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And it's kind of a couple things. First of all, you're afraid of doing it again. Yes, it takes some time to get the explosion back, and there's just a couple different reasons why you're not fully back to start.
Yeah, and how I look at the whole thing, it's hard for me to believe that Alonso is just going to go from this outstanding player that he was his rookie year to not being good at all. I mean, he's definitely a good linebacker in this league. So it's just giving him some time. So I think we've said this last week too, that we're not going to be able to tell with him until next year. And the nice part is, it seems like the Eagles were able to hit on their Hicks pick in the 3rd round. So having him back next year will help too.
Yeah, absolutely. And while we're still being a little bit optimistic about Kiko, that there is the possibility that he never regains the explosion. So just because he's not good now doesn't mean he won't stay that way. I don't
Yeah,
know if I
well,
worded that right, but
yeah, but let's hope that he can get back to somewhat of his form from his rookie year, because people didn't like the McCoy trade already. Geez, if Alonso turns out to be a bust, then yeah, people really won't like it.
all right, let's really quickly before we wrap things up, let's talk about the announcers and the refs. I'm not a guy that likes to pull the blame game on the refs. And granted, Buffalo was penalized 15 times, but they missed a lot of holding calls. And Spiro Ditas is a fucking tool bag.
Yeah, well, of course we had Hockey League today, so he's got to get his gun show in. Oh yeah. Oh, we don't have Jeremy here for the
Yeah,
real
we
gun
need
show.
Jeremy for this segment.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Hockey League, he's got to get his airtime. So yeah, the officiating today was it was definitely suspect, and I think that the Bills could have been called. They could have been called for about like 20 penalties or 25 penalties in this game. I mean, they were just absolutely annihilating the Eagles' defensive line, especially Cox. I mean, Incognito was just holding Cox on every single play.
I mean, even Ray Charles saw some of these holding penalties out there that weren't called today.
Yeah, that's for sure. Anyone could see that. I mean, they were just obvious. So that's where the Bills really hurt themselves with those penalties. But that's a situation where you have to give credit to the Eagles' defensive line, because that just shows how well the Eagles' defensive line was playing.
Mm-hmm. And then there's Spiro Ditas. There are two announcers that I hate. Tom Bredeman and Spiro Ditas. And we've had them in back-to-back weeks. Just awful. They called, God, what did they call him? Brian Bremen was called like Brian Barman or something.
Yeah, absolutely just butchered his name. Yeah, I mean, this is Bremen actually made a great play. The Bills muff the punt and recovers it, and the announcers can't even get his name right.
But he was just like, it wasn't just like the fumbling of mistakes. He screws up a lot. Like, he was calling the swing pass, the screen pass, and he doesn't understand football. Why the hell is he out there calling this game if he doesn't understand football?
It just brutal. I mean, between that and then we had to deal with the officiating. I mean, and there was a good game too. I mean, close the whole time. We had to deal with that.
Yeah, and speaking of hockey, that there's the climate. It's been very, very warm for December, and there have been some complaints, but certainly no complaining from Hockey League today because the sun was out and the guns were out, so he was happy.
Oh yeah, he's always happy to get his guns out. And like you said, it was like 70 degrees in Philadelphia in December, so I'm sure he was very happy.
Yep, absolutely. So to kind of close things out, let's do 3 stars and final thoughts. So we do the 3 stars first, and then we'll do final thoughts.
All right, 3 stars. I think number one, obviously, it's Fletcher Cox. Continues to be the number 1 star guy, just dominating all the time. Second star, I'm going to have to go with Bradford. Bradford really stepped up again today, continues to play well for this Eagles team. And my 3rd star, I'm going to go with Zach Ertz. Had the big play there at the end to get the Eagles in field goal range.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on Cox and Bradford. 3rd star, I will either go, let's see. I'll give it to Eric Rowe because he was outstanding again. So I'll say that. I'll say him. So, yeah, there you go. Those 3 guys. Yeah, so let's close the show out now. Final thoughts before we get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, my final thoughts it goes to like the officiating. Officiating has really been pretty bad throughout the league this year, so they're gonna have to figure something out with that. But really, what they got to figure out is what's a catch and what's not a catch.
God,
I don't think you.
That was not a catch on that interception.
No, it hit the ground. Obviously hit the ground, but somehow they say that he caught it. So nobody knows. And then I didn't see it in the Dallas game today, but apparently there was another Dez Bryant catch or no catch thing, and well, Dez lost again, no catch. So who knows? Nobody knows what a catch is, and it's really frustrating, especially. I mean, well, for casual fans that just watch football, I mean, how the hell are they even going to try to figure out what the hell a catch is? But they probably have a better chance at figuring out than a diehard fan does because we're thinking about so many damn things.
Yeah. I mean, and about that play, I had like no doubt in my mind that call was going to get reversed, and it didn't. And I was just like, what? Like, the ball clearly was rolling around, and it hit the ground. Like, come on, Ed.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And, it's one of those things where these catch or no catches, sometimes they take part in a key moment in the game. That could have been a really big play in the game. I mean, the Eagles, they probably would have got at least a field goal if they would have kept possession of the ball there.
Yeah. No, I agree with you because they were like inside the 30, I believe. So, yeah, they were in prime field goal range. Now, my final thought, I still hate you, Caleb Sturgis. I still hate you. I don't care that you were, what was he, 3 for 3 today? I don't care. Unless you kick a game-winning field goal in the Super Bowl, I am going to continue to hate you for all of eternity. So just because you went 3 for 3 doesn't mean I like you. And I also wanted to give the special teams a shout-out because Darren Sproles has some really nice returns today. So special teams shout-out. everybody besides you, Caleb.
There you go. Yeah, got to give the special teams credit coming up. Bremen with that fumble recovery. So special teams again playing a big part, and Sproles some nice returns.
Yep. So there you go. So that's going to wrap this show up. Jeremy will, I would hope, be on our preview show next. He's, he got tickets to the Bills game, part of his birthday celebration. So he got to go to the game. He was there with his girlfriend, and they're drinking in the city right now. So lucky them. And he had to get hitched up to a girl, because I probably would have been the one to go to the game if she wasn't there. So fuck you, Breezy. Just kidding. I love you. Your cookies were tremendous, by the way. She made these like I don't know what they're called, but they're like the peanut butter cookies with the Hershey Kiss in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Better than sex, better than anything I've ever eaten.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some of those cookies, but that's I'm sure that they're eating some of those cookies right now and drinking and enjoying the nice victory.
Oh yeah, they absolutely are, and yeah, we'll see Jeremy in a little bit. So and he was there today, and he was kind of giving me a just a little of what the crowd was doing with Shady, and it was cool to hear, and yeah, great game to go to, and he had great seats at the 50-yard line, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it good news all around. So hey, we got 2 victories in a row. Can we make it 3? We'll find out.
That's called a winning streak. It has happened before. So yeah. All right, we're out. We're out of here. Later, go Birds, and yeah, that's it. Bye.
Later.